Today's video is made possible by the kind and generous support of my Patreon community.
Oh, darling, the adventure awaits.
Since day one of moving into our fixer-upper homestead, we've been anticipating the day we can turn this 90s style breakfast nook off the kitchen into the homeschool room we've always wanted for our 3 kids. We knew early on that this project would take time and would be done in different iterations, and so far, we've added just a bit of organization and storage for books and learning supplies, but up until now, this room really has just been a blank holding area as we work on the other, more pressing repair and remodeling projects around this house. Well, the day has finally come, and in this episode, we are giving this room a makeover. While we have big dreams of adding custom library shelving and a storage window seat on the left side of the room, we know that's a bit farther down the road. In today's video, I'm going to be working primarily on the right side of the room to fix some damaged sheetrock with a custom wall treatment, build from scratch some open decorative shelves, and put together a computer desk setup, all in time to kick off our new homeschool year as a family. So join me as I give this room a bit of a makeover and take the next step on this journey of taking our place from house to home. I don't think I've seen this room this empty since probably the day before we moved into this house almost 2 years ago. I am so ready and so excited to knock out this project. And this is actually going to be the first house to home episode that I'm doing solo. Usually Weston joins me for these. He's one of the leaders in our church's youth ministry, and this week they are off at camp. So not only am I solo parenting this week, but apparently I am solo DIYing. So we shall see how this goes. I'm actually really familiar with our materials, the tools that I'm gonna be using. I'm using a lot of stuff that we've used in other projects around our house, sort of scraps and odds and ends that I can piece together. First of all, for a wall treatment that we're putting in here, this is the wall in question. So when we were remodeling our kitchen, we did a lot of mold remediation, and so we took out entire sections of this wall to get rid of the mold that was there. Weston actually rewired the entire kitchen, and then we slapped on some of this sheetrock material, and I have been staring at it for over a year, and I am just ready to get this covered up. Weston may be a professional and very talented electrician. However, we are not confident in the world of drywall or tape and texture and all of that sort of thing. We got quotes from a couple of different local contractors, and no one would do it for less than about $4,000. I know that contractors bid really high for small jobs. That way it can be truly worth their time. So I totally respect that. It's just not in the budget. However, $15 sheets of beadboard paneling is in the budget. And this sort of material is familiar to me. We've done wall treatment, like wainscoting projects before, and Weston and I did a little bit of pre-cutting. Maybe it's cheating to say I'm doing this solo because last night I did have his help. I needed an extra set of hands to pre-cut and measure some of these boards so that today all I have to do is get them up on the wall, get some stuff painted, and move on with this project. So I'm gonna roll up my sleeves, and that is what we're gonna start with. It's deja vu all over again. I feel like the running theme with my DIY videos in this house has been wall paneling with top trim, and I'm not mad about it because I have loved the other wall treatments that we've done. I love how they've turned out, and I think that this one is going to turn out really good too. I went with beadboard this time because I feel like it gives it sort of that country charm, and for our schoolroom specifically, I'm kind of going with a cottagecore, country, whimsical, childlike vibe with a little twist of modern. So think Anne of Green Gables meets mid-century. I don't know. That might sound like the weirdest mashup in the world, but I've got this image in my head and we shall see how it turns out. But I'm just adhering these panels to the wall with some adhesive, and then I'm gonna go in with my brad nailer and tack some nails through the panels, through the drywall, and into the studs that are built into this wall. I also used our oscillating multi-tool to cut out a spot for the outlet that's here at the end of the wall, and all of these panels went on like a dream.
We're going back to the hills to take it all back somehow. We're taking it back somehow.
Okay, we are moving right along. All 3 panels went up, they're adhered, they're brad nailed in, and now I have this piece of scrap trim. I found this in our pile. It has a little bit of adhesive on the back. This was from our living room remodel that we just did, and this is a leftover piece. It's jaggedy on that end, but I'm cutting it off anyway. Figured I would just pop this down as the top rail. I'm gonna make a mark where this is going to be cut. I also have this small piece of trim that kind of has a broken off end. I'm wondering if I could just cap off the end. Just making a little line right here. I'm gonna cut this piece off, cut that piece off, get the trim tacked on. And honestly, I've only been working for like an hour and a half. And this one goes to line up here. I'm good. You wanna know one of my hidden talents? I'm actually really good at eyeballing level, if I do say so myself, but you always check with a level or a laser level to make sure. This time I got it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why you wipe down your surface before you caulk and paint. You don't want to be painting over dust and dirt and grime. Okay, already just editing this voiceover into this part. I am loving this beadboard. I feel like it adds such a nice texture and accent to the rest of what I've got going on in the house. Yes, my kitchen island is an absolute disastrous mess, but we live here. Hi, welcome to my home. It's not always clean, but I'm just really loving this texture, and I think these vertical lines add something. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's just, especially as I put this caulking and then get the layers of paint onto this wall treatment, it's just really coming together, and I didn't think I would like it as much as I do. And speaking of paint, I'm using the same Pure White by Sherwin-Williams color that's all throughout our house. We used this recently in our living room. I'm priming with the Valspar bonding primer. Love this stuff so much. And to keep things simple for myself this time around, I'm just having it be all one white color. That helps with not having to tape anything off or use drop cloths. I can just slap a couple of coats on and call it good and move along. Yay, the wall treatment is done. It looks so good. I finished this project when it was dark last night, and waking up to daylight and seeing it all put together and dry, I'm so happy with it. And I'm happy I was able to use scrap pieces to make it and didn't have to buy much new. That's also what I'm kind of doing for the open shelving that I want to get. In this corner, I'm going to have an adjustable height desk. It's on its way, so stay tuned for that. That's gonna have a computer on it. And on this wall above the wall treatment, I want to build some open shelving and kind of mimic what I did in our old house. If you've been around that long, you might remember several years ago, I think it was one of my first DIY projects, I found some wood, I mixed together 2 different stain colors and built these like custom wood open shelves for storage as well as some decor elements. I still have those decor pieces in one of the last moving boxes that we still have packed that we brought over from the old house. And I am so excited to be able to put some of those things back on these shelves that I'm going to build today. So I'm going to try to build basically the same shelves that I did for our old house They're really nostalgic. It was such a very sweet time in our life as a family. It was a very special time as a homeschool mom, and I just loved how they turned out. So I am going with the same combination of wood stain. I was watching that video from years ago, and I used golden oak and early American. Kind of just like mixed them together until I got the shade that I wanted. I do have some scrap pieces of wood that I can kind of test out the shades as I'm mixing them. And I also am making these shelves from a couple of scrap pieces from stuff that I used to make my garden beds. I'm either going to do 3 or 4 shelves up here. There were 3 shelves in our last house, stain them up, and then I couldn't find the exact brackets that I used, but actually I kind of want to change the style just a little bit anyway. These ones are a little bit more detailed, kind of that country-ish, slightly Victorian look that I'm kind of going for in here. I actually ended up having to order the bigger, slightly bigger size. These are the 6-inch brackets, but I realized that my wood is about 10 inches wide, and so I got the 8-inch brackets instead. Those are on their way, as well as that adjustable height desk. But that's where we're at here in this project. I'm really excited to get started. It's raining outside right now. It's so cozy. Our cats, chickens, the kids, they're all enjoying it. I'm gonna step out there. I'm gonna work on our front covered porch. It's really quite perfect, and it feels kind of like a nod from the Lord to have such a cozy sort of weather day. Kind of resembles the autumn season, even though we are still very much in summer right now. But this project is to help us get prepared to go back to school. And of course, this video is in my back to fall series. So it's all coming together, and I get to have some cozy weather to look at while I work today. Okay, I have the boards out there drying. I really like how the color turned out. We'll see once we get it in here. As I was finishing up out there, I got our Amazon delivery. Ooh, there's a couple things in here for my homeschool haul. Stay tuned for that video. But the new brackets arrived. Oh yeah, these will be much better. Here's the small ones versus the bigger one. Yeah, I hear thunder. Do you hear that? Is that thunder? This is my favorite time of the year to have a storm because there are so many leaves on our deciduous trees that the motion of the wind, it's just enchanting, mesmerizing. I love it so much. Good summertime storm is exactly what we need to transition us into that autumn time mood. So I am going to, while those boards finish drying, scope out how many shelves I want up on the wall. There will be a maximum of 4 shelves on the wall. It might only be 3. And the first one is actually gonna start up here, probably right above the top rail. We've noticed our kids really like to stand when they're doing video games or computer games, and we will have a chair for this desk, but I'm getting that adjustable height feature so that they have the option of standing and playing, which means when it's lifted to standing height, that computer monitor that's going to be here, I don't want it to run into the bottom of the lowest shelf. So these shelves will definitely be placed higher than they were in our old house, but it's a different application, it's a different spot, different house. So now I think I'm gonna do just a little bit of figuring out how far apart the brackets are gonna go, how far the shelves are gonna be apart from each other. So I'm gonna work on that now.
Tragic love saga that dies in the end. The letter in my wallet, I'll keep it till we meet again. You should never doubt it's true. I am not forgotten. You're the one on my mind. And I could spend the winter too, as long as I am there with you, 'cause you're the one on my mind. You should never doubt it's true. I am not forgotten. You're the one on my mind.
I could not be happier with how these shelves turned out. So as you can see, as you can hear, the boys are unloading the dishwasher. That's what all the clunking is. But as you can see, I went with 3 shelves. I think 4 would be overkill. I'd like to get a nice plant, maybe like a pothos or a lipstick plant or something, to kind of trail down from the top. And I think any more would just be too much. I do have the 4th shelf stained. I have the set of brackets ready. So if I change my mind, I could easily pop one up there, but I'm really happy with how these turned out. The rest of my house, like my dining room, over here in the buffet, I have some of our homeschool drawers over there. I want to kind of reset this space because the wall treatment's done, the shelving is done. I don't need any more tools or supplies or materials. So I'm gonna do myself a favor and get things just kind of reset around here. While I work on that, I'm gonna share a special someone with you. For every video that goes up in my Back to Fall series this year, we are choosing a teacher to support and send some love and help clear their list. I have public school, private school, charter school, and homeschool teachers. And the teacher we're rallying around this week has an introduction in the description box of this video so you can get to know them a little bit and send them some love and support if you can. And if nothing else, I would love it so much if you would join me in praying for them as together we all start this new season. I truly have the best subscribers, the best community, and you guys really stepped up to support last week's teacher. So if you would like to do so again, follow the link in my description box to send them some love and rally around them. Thank you for joining me on this. This is so fun. So I got everything cleaned up. It took me 10 minutes. This is a task I would have put off in the past, but I have learned that it actually takes less time than you think, especially when the job is fresh. So I have one little bag of garbage, empty adhesive, tubes, caulking tubes, that sort of thing. And then I have this one box that needs to go back to Amazon with some returns. The floor in there is pretty dusty right now. I'm gonna run my robot vacuum, but first I want to get the furniture back into that spot, minus the desk that's coming tomorrow. I've got organization drawers, this little book cabinet unit over here in the corner that's piled with stuff. We're not gonna finish the project today, but I would like to get at least one step closer, and I think moving some of this furniture back in is gonna be a good step in the right direction. Okay, I hate it. Ugh.
You hate what?
I hate these drawers sticking out this far, covering up the wall treatment. They just suddenly seem like monstrosities. I'm going to try something And I'm just telling myself, worst case scenario, these will go right back to where they are. I measured them with 2 side by side. They are 28.5 inches, which we actually have in this spot. It'll probably give us like an inch or half an inch of room to put there. And then I'm thinking of stacking them too high. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see if it works. And if it doesn't, we'll go back to this. But I'm really just not loving this. I got used to how clean it looked with these being out of here. We absolutely need these for our homeschooling, so it is function over fancy. But I'm wondering if there's a better way. Is there a better way? Where's my dad? I'm all alone. Okay, Papa Scott to the rescue.
Is he coming?
Mm-hmm. There's no way I could safely lift these units on top of each other, and they're heavy even when the drawers are empty. I caught my dad at the perfect time. He's on his way home from work. We are basically on the way, so he's gonna stop by here and we'll see if we can heft these together.
Tip it
if it's
that
too
way.
much, tell me, because I don't want you to hurt yourself. Put this to cover the old,
I like it.
because we replaced all the sheetrock in here when we rebuilt the kitchen.
Looks good.
So, and I built these shelves today.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, that one's not as heavy. At least on the back. Sweet, thank you. I could not, I was like, how? I was trying to figure it out. So as much as I love the cozy rainy days, there is something so magical about the sunlight on a sunny morning here in the schoolroom. And waking up to that sunshine and this new arrangement with the drawers in the corner, it just really felt like everything was falling into place. So I'm gonna leave it this way for now, for this school year, and we will revisit the arrangement probably next school year. It's time to now assemble our adjustable height desk. Thank goodness it was delivered. It got delayed for a day and I was getting really nervous, but it's here and it was super easy to set up. I will link the exact one that I bought in the description box. I went back and forth on should I get the black one, should I get the white one, but it being a kids area, I thought black was probably the safer bet with stains and fingerprints. I think the black is fine and it kind of picks up on the accents of those brackets for the shelves above it.
They have a little DVD player in it.
Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
Oh my gosh, the kids were so adorable as we were unboxing and setting up this computer. They actually didn't know that I was getting them a computer. This is kind of an early birthday present for the boys, but it's for Haley too. It's truly for all of us. Right now, I got a secondhand, sort of refurbished, really cheap computer. It's adequate for the games and the learning programs that we need on it, but in the future, I can definitely see us upgrading. The desk is assembled, computer set up, the cords are managed, the kids are having a blast having a computer here in this corner. I love this desk. It's so great. This adjustable height feature, it's working great. I got a little chair for it, and as you can see, within the first day of having it, it already has a stain. It's okay, as I said before, we live here, stuff gets stained, but I think it's cute. I love the legs on it. I think it gives it sort of that like mid-century mod, but it doesn't look too out of place with like the more country-ish look with that beadboard that we have up there. And you know how before I was talking about the mashup of the two different styles that I'm going for in this room? Well, it dawned on me that feeling that I have in mind that I want this room to evoke is that we live in the mid-century, but we're nostalgic about the turn of the century. And it just wasn't making sense to me until a couple nights ago, we were watching the movie So Dear to My Heart, which was made in 1948, so mid-century, and it has all of that like golden age Disney mid-century animation with like the Mary Blair style, the schmaltzy, fun, kind of jazzy music, everything that I love. But the movie itself actually takes place in 1903. So as I'm watching it, like right before my eyes, the mashup of this era, this mid-century era with the early turn of the century is embodied in this movie, So Dear to My Heart. And it's so heartwarming, it's so wholesome. It has so many good messages in it. And one of the characters, one of the little animated characters actually, it's live action, but there's like animated portions of this movie, is this wise old owl that always has these like one sentence little words of wisdom that the main character, the little boy, he always has like these little postcards that he flips through for inspiration. And one of the phrases is one that I actually use all the time here on my channel and have so for many, many years. It's this one. It's what you do with what you got. This is so my motto for everything from like how I tackle a remodeling project, like this schoolroom with using supplies and materials that I already have on hand, to how I go about homeschooling my kids, and a lot of different things in my life. You've heard me say for years is what you do with what you got, or I'm using what I have. There's actually a whole musical number in this movie around this specific phrase. So I was so inspired by this movie, and I was watching it for probably the 200th time in my life, that I took screenshots from the film and kind of doctored up a few images to look like the postcards that Jeremiah, the little boy, flips through when he's looking for inspiration. I printed some of them out, and I think I'm gonna tack these up to this little bulletin board. This is the first thing that I'm pulling out of the moving box. We had this bulletin board in our old house. I'm gonna get that up onto the wall. I have some old pictures of the kids, little Polaroids that I took, those little wise old owl quotes. Oh, there's lots of fun stuff in here that I'm so happy to see. Our Little House on the Prairie book set. These were up on the shelves in our old house. These are vintage McGuffey's readers. I've got a little vintage book here as well. Look at this vintage postcard. I believe this is from Germany. I've had this for years and years. Even in our old house, I loved vintagey stuff, and I've really settled into that style here in this house. And I am just loving how this schoolroom is turning out. And I think I'm gonna just dive into this box and pull out these things that are really sweet and nostalgic to us that I've been waiting for to put into our schoolroom in our new house. Kids are playing outside right now, and I also kind of want to surprise them with getting this decor up because I know they will recognize these things from our old house. So let's decorate.
Word will be enough when I cannot hear, when I start to fear. Your word will be enough. Your voice will lead me in when I can't escape. To the quiet place, your voice will lead me in. Lift up your heads, you weary souls. Our God is not done yet. Our King will come with the morning light, bringing joy to the darkest of night. Carry on, all you pilgrims. Don't lose heart, His strength will still come. At the end of your wanderings, you'll see
Yes, we
There's a
do.
bell up there, see? These are new.
The bird. Oh,
Yeah.
an apple.
Uh-huh. Do you remember that from our old house?
Them. It's what you do with what you got. Nothing venture, nothing gained.
Yep, and this one says, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Wise words, Mr. Owl. We have our memory verse here, and then on top, the little learning globe. This is actually vintage. I had this same one when I was a kid. And then our wing feather books, our set of vintage childcraft books, some art for the wall, Haley's chasing a fly. We have our printer here, and then our daily bins that the kids use. They're pretty much empty now because we're taking a bit of a summer break. We have this painting. I think I thrifted this fall time last year. And this is a good spot for it over here in this corner. You almost got him, Haley? I really love how everything came together in here. When Weston gets home, we're gonna have him raise our chandelier. It's kind of at table height if this was used for a dining space. So it needs to go up a little bit to be better for the function of the space. And then I love how these shelves turned out, so many nostalgic pieces up here. And you may have noticed I switched out where I had the bulletin board. It's here now. I originally put it in this spot, but I felt like having this alphabet chart here was a little less busy. I love this bead board. And actually moving forward, I think I'm going to continue this wall treatment all the way around the room and stop it right here in this corner. That way the whole room is sort of cohesive and it's brought together. You know, even though these shelves aren't like chock full of stuff, I would say that the room overall is not as minimal as I typically go. But right now, I don't mind it. I don't feel like it looks too cluttered. It still looks tidy, but we definitely have some interesting things, some charming things to look at. I just got the call from Weston. He is ready for me to pick him up. So I'm gonna head out with the kids now and have a nice reunion. We have missed him, but I am really proud of myself that I got this job done. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for coming along with me as I did this DIY project, the wall treatment, building the shelves. That was a lot of fun. I can't wait to show Weston how it all turned out. I've been sending him pictures here and there. I can't wait to hear all about how camp went for him. So I'm gonna say goodbye. God bless you all. Thank you so much for spending a little part of your day here with me on my channel, and I'll catch you later. Why are you plugging your ears? Oh, he needs to be opening his mouth when he's saying that. I'm too small to be here on my own. I swam away 'cause I